Minnesota Vikings have dropped to 0-3 to start off the 2023 season, and it's disappointing. It's frustrating. So many emotions right now, and so I have to go on here and just rant. Now, for some of you guys who are already subscribed to the channel, you know this isn't a Minnesota Vikings channel, but I am a Minnesota Vikings fan, if you couldn't tell. And this game is just so upsetting that I have to come on here and just rant. I need to speak my mind somewhere. So we're going to do it here in this video. And look, we're going to start off with something that I don't think gets brought up enough, and I don't think all of the blame is on their shoulders. But look, the first thing I want to talk about is the Wilfs, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. The Wilfs are great people. They do a lot for the community. They've set up this organization so well from the standpoint of just, great people, great facilities, great stadium, state-of-the-art, just first-class organization, right? But the issue that I have with the Wilfs, and I feel like, I don't want to throw them under the bus because they've done a lot of great things, like I said, but they are holding us back. The Wilfs are holding us back because their philosophy of building a football team is just not it. And you can say whatever you want, right? Okay, well, no, it's in the hands of Spielman. It's in the hands of Kwesi. The people that they choose to hire as the general manager is a reflection of what they want. And it's just like, and we see the same trends. I know it's been very early on in Kwesi's stint with the Vikings, but we saw it with Spielman, right? Just very conservative in the sense of the draft where he's not really willing to trade up, but wants to trade back and accumulate picks. And Kwesi did the same thing in his first draft, right? It's just like, and this team also as well, to go along with draft philosophy, they are too afraid to just be bad. The Wilfs are not willing to scrap this team, start from zero, and rebuild. And that's why this team is consistently mid, or they're competitive, but not competitive enough to compete for a Super Bowl. We're not brain dead, okay? This franchise has been around for way too many years not to have got that trophy in the organization. This is a team that's made it to 4 Super Bowls. You guys know the drill. They haven't won anything. They haven't won anything yet. And you would think that there is some desire or want, or maybe just considering some sort of change, and not just a change of bringing in new people, but just a different mindset when it comes to building this team, okay? Because you know what? The fact of the matter is, picking from 16 to 25 is not going to win you the Super Bowl. We need some X Factor caliber players, and unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that where they fall in your lap all the time. Now, yeah, of course, we've gotten some great players like Justin Jefferson, right, who fell in our lap, but that doesn't happen year after year, and I think the Wilfs are just, I don't want to be mean, but it's kind of delusional where they think that we actually can build a team like this when all they've done in their ownership time is just sustain the same type of results. Again, it's just us being good, not great. And that's the biggest enemy right now. These owners are too afraid, all right, to scrap this team and rebuild and really just try and build the team from there. Because right now, what we're doing is not the answer. And so I think they have a lot to do with that, right? I mean, it is a reflection of just the rest of the franchise and the results that we're getting. And it's showing right now. It always starts from the top and it trickles down to the bottom. And we are seeing the lowest of lows right now. And it's frustrating. So now, moving on to the guy who's right below them, the guy that they hired a couple of years ago in Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. Bro, I don't even know where to start with this, okay? First of all, okay, let's look at the first draft that he had. Lewis Cine. What has Lewis Cine done? Absolutely nothing. In a scheme with Brian Flores that's supposed to be heavy with safeties, right? They have 3 safety looks, and this guy still can't get on the field. This was your first round pick, which, by the way, you traded back where you could have got Kyle Hamilton where you were sitting at. But no, you decided to trade back with a division rival and get Lewis Cine, who has done absolutely nothing. Nothing. Okay? Moving on. Andrew Booth. Nothing. You did not, he's doing nothing. He's doing nothing on a team that is so depleted at cornerback health, or just cornerback depth, I'm sorry. His health is an issue, and, that's another thing. Then you move on to his other second-round pick, Ed Ingram. Oh my God. I could do an entire rant on Ed Ingram. This dude is one of the worst football players ever. How he is still starting, I have no idea. Get your ego out of here. I don't care that he was a second round pick. Bench the dude. And why are we only signing Dalton Risner now? I'm grateful that we're signing him at any point, but why was he not signed in the offseason? I just don't get it. It was a clear upgrade at the position. You obviously got him for great value. I don't know what the deal is. Obviously, we haven't seen him play it, but at this point, anything is better than Ed Ingram. So those first 3 picks alone, it's just embarrassing, honestly, okay? So that's how the general manager started. Now, look, I will give him props here and there, right? We had to get rid of some veteran players, and I know not everyone agrees with that, but that's something that I can get around, right? It's better to get rid of these guys a year early than a year too late, just because of how, they're probably going to regress. The salary cap, the way that it works. These were the right moves, okay? But then acquiring talent in the process. Now, Byron Murphy, I thought was going to be all right, but he proceeded to give up 200 yards to Keenan Allen today. Marcus Davenport, $13 million deal. 0 snaps played through the first 3 games of the season. Now, let's not act like we didn't know that this dude was injury prone. Of course, yeah, this is his first ankle injury, but we knew that this dude was made out of glass, and we decided to hand this man $13 million for him not to play a single snap in the first 3 games of the season. So well done. Well done. Well done. Now, I'm not going to just address the bad things, okay? We're not going to be just, not aware of the other good things that are going on. TJ Hawkinson was great. I think Jordan Addison's going to be great. So yeah, he is making good moves here and there, but there's too much conflict. With the good is coming the bad. And it's just, it doesn't work out that way. You're fighting yourself when you bring yourself up and you bring yourself back down, And it's just, I don't understand. Now, another thing with the general manager, okay? Kwesi came in here knowing that the offensive line, okay, is an issue for the team. And even the defensive line when he came into here. Now, the way that I see it, and I've always felt like this for a long time, and by any means am I saying that I'm qualified to be a general manager? Hell no, okay? But what I do know is that the best teams in the league build their teams through the trenches. They win games because they have good lines. The defensive line is not good for this team. Danielle Hunter is the only legitimate piece that we have on this team that's really good. Okay, and on the offensive line, we have great tackles, but where's all the pressure coming from? The interior. It's like there is no emphasis to improve either of the lines, and you wonder why Kirk continuously gets pressure, why we cannot create any penetration on the defensive line. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, say what you want. Yeah, he drafted Ed Ingram in hopes of improving the offensive line. Yeah, how's that worked out so far? I mean, you can address the position, but you got to, address it by bringing a talented player in the building. And Ed Ingram has certainly not been that. It's just ridiculous. Then you sign back Garrett Bradbury. Right, because he improved last year. He was better than he was ever in his career. But that's because he sucked. And he still does. And now he can't even stay healthy. So we've had Austin Schlottman, our backup. Okay, props to him because he's doing all right. But we've had our backup in for the first 3 weeks because we decided to bring back an injury-prone, mediocre center. So it's just, there's no emphasis to build either the offensive or the defensive line. And the guys that we do choose to bring in are just not qualified to be starting. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And this is a team that we know and we've been well aware of that has had so many offensive line struggles in the past. You would think that the guy that they hire, especially coming from Cleveland, considering how much they invest in the offensive line, seeing how important it is to them, you would think that he would bring that same philosophy here. But he just doesn't get it, apparently. He just doesn't get it. So again, we're fumbling. Okay, this hire so far with Kwesi just doesn't look good. And I don't want to hit the panic button here in the middle of year 2, but it's not looking good. It is not looking good at all. Okay, so again, the owners need to just ramp up the intensity, be a little bit more aggressive, and it's okay if we're bad for a couple of years if it gives us a legitimate shot to actually win the Super Bowl in the near future. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, are we just okay with being all right? Is that what it's come to? Look, and I was talking about this off camera with someone else, and it's just like, I would rather this team just swing the bat as hard as they can instead of trying to just get on first base every single time. I am willing to strike out 3 times if it means I get 1 home run instead of getting like 2 singles and 2 strikeouts. Because that's basically what the Minnesota Vikings are right now. I would rather go 1 for 4 with a home run instead of 2 for 4 with 2 singles, honestly. Because it ain't getting us anywhere. Now, again, it starts from the top and it trickles down. So we talked about the owners, we talked about the GM. Next is Kevin O'Connell. Now look, Kevin O'Connell, I'm going to give a little bit more leeway because he gave us 13 wins last year with a team that really shouldn't have won 13 games. But this year, okay, there are some real issues that are showing up. Okay, first of all, the penalties were bad. It's just an undisciplined team in the first 2 weeks. They cleaned it up this week. Okay, good for that. Now, the next thing, okay, and you can tie this in with both of them because Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, they work together hand in hand. Okay, they choose what players that they want on the roster. The coaching needs to get better. You cannot turn over the ball 10 times in the first 3 weeks. What professional team is doing that? Okay, that comes down to coaching. Penalties and turnovers come down to coaching. Now, the clock management at the end of the game was just abysmal. I mean, Brandon Staley handed us the ball game. And from the 25-yard line, an offensive-minded head coach that has Justin Jefferson on his team, and we still couldn't score. We had 2 opportunities in the final 5 minutes of the game to put up 2 touchdowns, potentially 2 touchdowns, and we got 0 points. It is just, how the hell, bro? It just doesn't make any sense to me. There needs to be some level of accountability. Like I said, Kevin O'Connell is not a bad coach yet, right? Still put together a fantastic year last year, and shit is just hitting the fan this year, okay? But on the other side of the ball, and now this is where I'm starting to think it's a Kevin O'Connell issue. Ed Donatel last year was horrible. Well, I don't know what it is with the people named Ed, like Ed Donatel and Ed Ingram, but these are probably the 2 worst people to step foot in the franchise these last 2 years since this new regime started, okay? That was bad, and it was just one of the worst defenses I've ever seen. Now, this year, it's the complete opposite, okay? And now, we know that Brian Flores is not a bad coach. And just like, how is this defense still bad? I understand there is a lack of talent, but Kevin O'Connell, I think his defensive philosophy is just not completely there. Now, we also have to make this aware that this is only the 2nd season in franchise history that this team is running a 3-4, and the team is just not built like that. And so, I think that that's an issue in itself. You have players right now in the system that do not fit a scheme, and it's showing, right? And now, you have a guy in Brian Flores who's also struggling to put together a good defense. And look, we weren't expecting this to be a top 10 unit in the league. We just needed them to be average. But this defense isn't good either. And I don't know if I want to blame Brian Flores. I think, again, this is a thing that starts from the top. And at the top of the coaching hierarchy in this building, it starts with Kevin O'Connell. I don't know. We went from complete sit-back, passive defense to completely aggressive. There is no balance. We need a medium. You know what I mean? Because it's not working out. We are sending 6-7 guys every play, and we're not getting any sacks. We're creating pressure, but we're not finishing plays. And so, again, all these things tie hand in hand together, and it just trickles from the top down to the bottom. It is a reflection of the entire football team. It is just so frustrating because nothing is going right now. And this team look, even if this team was 1-2, okay, I wouldn't be making this video because there's still a chance. And look, in some way, and I'm trying to be optimistic about this, if we end up being as bad as we are right now, like throughout the entire season, this is setting us up good. Because then we have the potential to get a legit franchise quarterback. Now, before you guys say anything about Kirk Cousins, okay? I love Kirk too. He's good. He gets way too much slander. But we all know damn well, deep down inside, we are not winning a freaking Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins. It's just the truth, okay? I hate to break it to you. I love Kirk. I support Kirk. But we're not winning the Super Bowl with him, okay? It's as simple as that. Say what you want. His defenses haven't been good. Yes, that's true. It doesn't matter. We're not winning with him. That's the bottom line. If you can't accept that, I'm sorry. I think you're just as delusional as everyone else in the building right now. Because, again, it's good being the enemy of great. We need to be great. That's simply what it is. I okay. So anyway, the owners, the general manager, the coaches. Now we go down to the players. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about. Okay, it's just a lack of talent. That's all it comes down to. Like I said, we're not winning a Super Bowl with Kirk. Okay, let's not be brain dead. Let's not be delusional. Let's not blind ourselves with our optimism. It's not happening. Okay. Justin Jefferson is the best thing that we've got. One of the best players in the league. He's leaving because his only priority is to win, and we don't win games. So I think in the near future, we're going to have to get rid of him. And I doubt he departs straight up as a free agent. We're going to trade him, get a haul of picks, yada, yada, yada. Because he wants to win, and we can't even satisfy that for him. The offensive line is terrible, right? Darrison O'Neal, we'll give him a pass because they're actually good. But this interior O-line is one of the worst units I've ever seen. Same goes for the defensive line. What are we doing? The cornerbacks are bad. It's just... And don't even get me started with Alexander Madison, right? I feel very bad, okay, about what's happening with him off the field. That kind of stuff should never happen. So, Vikings fans, if you're contributing to that, bad on you, okay? But, I mean, there's got to be a level of accountability with him, right? I mean, he's not playing good. He's not playing good either. And so it's just, it's a lot right now. It's a lot. And like I said, I'm just so frustrated because time and time and again, this team is just content with being all right. I've mentioned this, I don't know how many times in this video, but we need to come in with a more aggressive mindset. And I don't know if that will ever happen for as long as the Wilfs own this team. That's just my honest opinion on it. And I'm very frustrated. I needed to come on here and do this rant, and it's not something I typically do on this channel, but it is just so embarrassing to see the way that this franchise operates sometimes. I mean, like where is the fire? Where is the desire to just win it all once? Because obviously what we've been doing just doesn't work. You know, I am just waiting for the day where we go out there and just swing the bat with all our might. Because we're not doing it right now. We are not doing it right now. I hate to repeat myself so much. But as many times as people like me and those of you who listen and also make their opinions known out there, they're not listening. I mean... I need to take a deep breath. I need to calm down. I mean, this is just... It is embarrassing. It is embarrassing. I mean, the fact, right, like, just how much this franchise has accomplished, especially, you know, in the 70s, and, you know, I mean, how close they came in 98. It's just so many Hall of Famers, so many amazing wins, and, of course, that came with a lot of heartbreak as well. But I'm telling you right now, until we get more aggressive and we swing the bat, and we swing it well now. We can't just recklessly swing the bat as hard as we can. We got to be smart with it as well. But until we are willing to be aggressive and capitalize on being aggressive, we're not doing anything. And that's simply what it comes down to. Okay? Some of you guys may have already come to this harsh conclusion many years ago. Okay? And as a Vikings fan, I have been a fan, like diehard serious fan, for the last 10 years. That's half my life. And it's finally hitting me, okay? So it is frustrating. It is frustrating. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I would be more than happy to reply to you guys' comments and have a discussion down below. This is my Minnesota Vikings rant for 2023. I can assure you that this probably won't be the last one that I have on the channel. But until then, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys all later. Peace.